We got started with a bang, unfortunately in more ways than one. Talal Shahir being collected by Oscar Rindzovic from behind, and then collecting Sven as well. 3 Ferrari 296 Challenge cars unfortunately stricken from the race at the very first moment of asking. All drivers okay, of course, but soon the safety car would be deployed, and after that the red flag would be utilised, and everyone would have to get back into the order in which they formed the grid. And after a long, prolonged waiting period, we finally got back to racing. With about 20 minutes left on the clock, the race resumed, and Kenneth Heyer was immediately under pressure from Kari Schreiner. Schreiner, though, would come under fire from Severin Mazur in the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo car, the Super Trofeo Evo 2. Bit of contact between the two Lambos on the run down to the second corner. Kari would ultimately come out on top there. I think there may have been a collision there for Alberto Di Martini and his Mercedes AMG GT2, because we'd see that later on he was carrying a little bit of damage. Fireworks in Cup 2 as well. Mons Thalen was trying to defend against Hubert Darmetko, but Darmetko would ultimately find a way by in that scrap. The 15 car from NM Racing Team was having damage, as we said. The 270 car was, of course, ComTU Racing. They were having some issues as well. This is the moment that we saw the number 7 car move into the lead of class. This, however, was ultimately the cause of a safety car. The 117 car, the GT Cup 5 class leading machine, had an issue, a bit of a spin there. That was Giuseppe Casillo, and then Kenneth Heyer, unfortunately, went deep into turn 1, immediately deep into turn 2. Not quite the day that he wanted. The car had a problem, and that was the end of his day. One souvenir, though, for our Marshal. Big throw as well. Back to green flag. And very briefly, with 3 minutes left on the clock, it would be a 3-lap dash to the flag. And for Mons Thalen, he was under huge pressure from Mariusz Goretzki. And Goretzki for Furt Racing managed to get through into second in Cup 2. Przemysław Bienkowski, meanwhile, went out wide. And Joachim Bolting was making up places, while Severin Mazur was pointed in the wrong way. Meanwhile, lots of Cup 1 and Cup 2 and indeed Cup 4 battling in the middle team positions, drivers fighting within and outside of their class, but none of that was a concern for Giuliano Holzem. The invitational entry from Schubert Motorsport at the top of the order in the GT Winter Series. Mons Thalen went deep at the final corner on the last lap. We didn't see that live, but that does explain why he ended up dropping back to third in the Cup 2 category in his Porsche. Lots to unpack from that race. I dare suggest some busy stewards. Giuliano Holzem is your race winner overall, though. Mathis Lismont finishing second in the GT3 class. Of course, his car is entered, so he wins the GT3 category, finishes second overall. Jonas Karklees from Engstler Motorsport finishes in third position. The GT3 Pro car from Engstler finishing third. Kari Schreiner in fourth place in her car, the Evo 1 spec Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Anders Bidstrup winning in the Cup 1 class ahead of Eric Chung. James Owen rounding out the podium in Cup 1. In 8th overall, just behind them, Rafael Duran, also in a Cup 1 Ferrari. Great to see him continuing to fight at the front of that class. Ricardo Baptista in 9th in the ComTU Racing Aston Martin. John Dillon for AF Corsa rounding out the overall top 10. He was ahead of Cup 4 winner Ulrich Larsen for DC Motorsport, the team boss claiming a win for DC Motorsport. Shintaro Akatsu for Reparto Corsa having a great effort there. Cristiano Mathiel in 13th overall. Paolo Scugieri in 14th position. Alessio Ruffini in 15th overall and second among the Cup 4s. Petar Matic in 16th place. Then it was Hubert Darmetko in 17th, winning Cup 2 on his return to the GT Winter Series. Great to have him back in the paddock. Mariusz Górecki, his fellow countryman from Poland, in 18th place ahead of Alfredo Hernandez for BDR competition. Mons Thalin in 20th place, ultimately still getting a podium in Cup 2 despite losing some places late on. Joachim Balting finishing in 21st place for Plus Line Racing. In 22nd place, Przemysław Bienkowski, the other PTT racing car, of course, that is their full season entry. He might not be too pleased with 5th in Cup 2, actually. Might have hoped for some more points, given they have 6 cars in the class this weekend. Alvaro Ramos from Araujo Competición coming in 23rd position. In 24th place, Alberto Duran, the father of Rafael Duran, finishing 24th. Jakob Twalog in 25th position for Furch Racing. Ryan James, we didn't really see any of the Cup 3 McLarens out there on circuit during the race, but it was Ryan James that came out on top in that battle, when in 26th overall. Then it was Germana Tognella in 27th place, Alberto Di Martin in 28th in the GT2 Mercedes, Jakob Bidstrup in 29th, Andreas Greiling in 30th in his first appearance in the Trophy Spec McLaren Artura. Darren Howell in 31st position was second among the Cup 5 cars for the older Ferrari Challenge machines. Severin Mazur had a spin at the end. He ended up 32nd after running well within the top 10. Steen Almsgaard in 33rd. Kenneth Heyer with his problem down in 34th place, and Giuseppe Casillo in 35th position, rounding out the order on screen there. Of course, Giuseppe unfortunately not taking the flag, nor did Kenneth Heyer. We also lost Oscar Rinzovic earlier on for Myrtle Motorsport with the start line collision. That also claimed Talal Shahir and the 175 AF Corsa car as well. So some damaged Ferrari 296s, unfortunately. But the teams will be working hard to make sure their drivers get back out on the circuit come Sunday.